Carla turned over the Queen of Diamonds. Said Dottie. She was silent for a while. Then she said, "Give me your hands." Carla let Dottie hold her hands again. Dottie was silent, and Carla could hear the clock tick. "Each of us has a soulmate," Dottie said finally, as she released Carla's hands. "Yes," said Carla. "There may be many reasons why you have not met your soulmate," said Dottie. "You may not be ready." "If I met him, would I know him?" Carla said. "Oh yes, absolutely. There is a total recognition between the souls when they find each other." "So I just keep searching?" Carla said. Dottie said, "Don't be impatient. Try not to be impatient. Remember, your true nature is timeless." "Not my biological clock," said Carla, laughing. Dottie put her hand on the Queen of Diamonds. "This is a very unusual message," she said, looking up at Carla. "You are more comfortable with women than men." Carla laughed and did not know what to say. "What do you mean?" she said finally. "I'm not saying you are physically attracted to women," Dottie said. "I'm talking about your spirit, in a metaphysical way. You believe that the female essence is superior to the male essence. The female essence for you is wise and life-affirming. Too much of the male is directed toward cruelty, destruction, and dominance." "You may be right," said Carla. "I don't know. I'm not sure if I ever thought about it like that. I mean, consciously." "Many times I feel this way too," said Dottie. "But we must come to the position of harmony, balancing with one another, seeing the place and purpose of each." "All right," said Carla. "It is not just men," said Dottie. "Our age is one of terribly low spiritual consciousness. Those who have the gift must use it. You must try to see that men are not only necessary, but they also have their rightful place in the order of things. I agree that they can be difficult to understand, but I suggest that you make an extra effort to sympathize with their point of view without denying your own. Try to reestablish the balance that must exist." "You mean I should bend over backwards to try to understand men and the way they act?" said Carla. Dottie nodded her head. "Yes, understand and sympathize. Be compassionate. Be forgiving. Male nature is different from female, but it is part of the totality. You will need it if you ever hope to advance beyond the earth plane." "Okay," said Carla, shaking her head. "Try this," Dottie said. "I know how difficult this can be. It is one thing to accept the spiritual existence of the male principle. It's another to deal with men." Carla laughed. "So try this. The next time you are with a man, whether you're working with him or just standing next to a stranger, try to find at least one redeeming feature in him and then focus on that. Every man will have at least one redeeming feature." "I'm really not that judgmental," Carla said. "You may not be consciously," said Dottie, "but there is something in you that has problems with men. You believe they are inferior. I don't know. Perhaps a man hurt you or abused you in a past life. But I think this is definitely something you were meant to contend with." "Gosh, okay," Carla said. Carla could barely remember saying goodbye to Dottie and leaving her house. She almost forgot to leave the $10 contribution that she always gave Dottie as a way of thanking her. She was thinking very hard about what Dottie had told her. She agreed with what Dottie had said. On the whole, she did prefer the company of women. She felt natural and at ease around women. Men were after something. They were manipulators. They put her on alert. But now Dottie was telling her to reach out to men, to let her guard down, to try to get through to them. In no time, Carla was near her home. She remembered that she needed a few groceries, lettuce, a cucumber, some mushrooms. So she stopped at the supermarket, picked up a handbasket, found what she needed, and was standing in line, waiting to check out. There was an elderly lady ahead of her who had bought what looked like a year's supply of cat food. As Carla neared the register, she realized that her inclination was to strike up a conversation with the clerk, a woman about her own age, instead of the shopper behind her, a man who appeared to be slightly younger than she was. She remembered Dottie's advice. She should try to speak with the man. Glancing back at him, she could see he was not her type, not physically at least. He was soft around the middle, sloppily dressed, and losing his hair. He had a mustache, too, and Carla didn't like mustaches. But she thought, what does it matter, the way he looks? I could just be using that as an excuse to avoid him. And besides, I'm not trying to pick him up or anything. I'm just going to talk to him. And so, not without some effort, she did. Turning to him, she said, "It's a nice day today, isn't it? Quite a relief from the heat." The man turned to look at her and seemed to recoil, almost violently. His eyes swept past her and stared off into space. Instead of giving her a civil answer, the man merely grunted. Carla was tempted to file him away under the worst of the male stereotypes, but she was determined to make a sincere effort to accept his behavior, no matter how bizarre. She remembered what Dottie had said about the one redeeming feature. Okay, this guy looked like a Pillsbury Doughboy, and he had a Neanderthal personality, but there must be something about him that wasn't terrible. She would find that and bring it out. "That storm we had last night was really something, wasn't it?" she said. The man turned to her again, and then this time actually stepped away from her, pretending to be interested in the tabloid magazines on the rack behind the register. There was something desperate in the way he did this that made Carla wonder if he wasn't an escaped mental patient or something. His movements were so abrupt that she thought he might be having a seizure. Carla couldn't believe it. Dottie tells her to go out and connect with the male essence, try to reconcile her femininity into some kind of balance with the other side of life, and here she was, in the checkout line at the grocery store, for God's sake, trying to talk to some guy about the freaking weather of all things, and even that wasn't working. Maybe Dottie was right on this one. Maybe there was something in her past that was preventing her from breaking through. It was a frightening possibility. With a supreme effort, Carla made one last try. "We had some big limbs down near where I live," she said. "Lost our power for over 2 hours." Without a word, the man picked up a magazine and put it right up to his face, studied it intently so he could hide behind it. He had to be some kind of mental patient or a pervert. Carla thought, "Well, fuck you too, pal." Then she apologized to the spirit world for harboring such a vicious thought and worried about her fate. The checkout lady said, "Yeah, that was some storm." She was passing items over the scanner, her hands moving like machine pistons, keeping her too busy to make eye contact with the customers. She named the total and put out her hand for the cash. She returned the change and the receipt. "Thank you, have a nice day," she said. Carla picked up her bag. As she was walking away, the lady said to the man behind her, "Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?" Every customer was the same. Carla couldn't understand it. What was her problem with men? As she walked out to her car, she was thinking about what it could be in her past, in a previous life that was making it impossible for her to get along with men, even in a simple conversation. She could hear Dottie telling her that our lives are a lesson. We work to understand what we are and why we are here. If we are successful in our lives, then we advance to the next spiritual level. If we fail to accomplish our purpose, then we must repeat the lesson until we get it right. Dottie's right. I don't understand men at all, Carla thought, even when I try. That man was so hostile. He was acting so strange. It was like he was crazy. But she'd look back as she was leaving the store, and the man was carrying on what appeared to be a normal conversation with the checkout lady. Something about her karma must be seriously warped. Carla opened her door, sat on the front seat, and swung the bag of groceries past her onto the passenger seat. In doing so, she knocked the rearview mirror askew. Reaching up to adjust it, she had a full clear view of her own face. She jerked her head and gave a tiny shriek. There, under her nose, was the grossest, hugest, dirtiest booger she'd ever seen in her life. A great big, snotty, gray-black ball of snot, with hairs in it and everything. Carla took another look at it, a horrified examination, winced in terror, then opened the glove compartment, got a tissue out, and wiped the disgusting thing away. Good Lord! Trapping it and balling the tissue as if she'd caught a spider. And sitting there in the parking lot, with the door of her car still open, the spiritual energy of the world swirling all about her, Carla began to laugh.